I'm back, like NHL hockey will be in a little over 3 weeks. So, in today's video, I am going to be talking about the layout of what the NHL is trying to do for their upcoming 2021 season, not 2020-21 season, just the 2021 season, and go over basically my thoughts on the division alignment, my thoughts on the key dates, and all that stuff, basically, just to go over this stuff. And beyond this post, I plan on uploading every day until the season starts, and then every day beyond that, hopefully. Haven't been the best with consistency in my posting in the past, but you know what? It hopefully, I'm consistent. If not, we'll see where it goes. Anyway, opening night is scheduled for January 13th. That's only a little over 3 weeks. Everything's going to be accelerated now. So all the free agents who haven't signed, like Mike Hoffman, for example, it's going to be now or never. It's either you're opting out or you're signing with the team in the next 3 weeks probably because you want to get paid and you want to play. Or you don't and you want to sit out and wait for a contract next year when hopefully the world is a little more normalized and teams have a little more confidence in spending money on a 5 to 6 year contract on someone like Mike Hoffman. But either way, I expect Mike Hoffman to be signed within the next 3 weeks because of this. Anyway, January 13th, season start date. Looking forward to it. The opt-out deadline. So some players opted out of the bubble last year. Tuukka left about a week in. Hamonic didn't play. I'm pretty sure Mike Green was on. Mike Green was on Edmonton. I believe he opted out too at the time. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see who opts out and who plays. If there's any notable names and all that, that will be coming out very shortly. The deadline for non-playoff teams. So basically, the 7 teams that didn't play in the bubble is December 24th. The other 24 teams, the deadline is December 27th. I don't know why they have different days. It's been a while since the bubble. I don't know why they're giving these teams a bit of a head start on that. Same with the camp start date. The non-playoff teams, December 31st camp opening. Other 24, January 3rd. It doesn't really make sense why you would give those teams that advantage going into this year for being garbage last year. Nonetheless, it is what it is. That's only a few days difference and really shouldn't impact much beyond maybe the first week of the season because after that everyone's gonna have all their stuff together and you're gonna really be able to figure out who's there to play and who isn't. RFA signing deadline February 11th, contract extensions March 12th, trade deadline all the way in April 12th, and the end of the regular season at May 8th. Seattle expansion draft July 21st, NHL entry draft July 22nd and 24th, and the free agency starts July 28th. What that tells you is they plan on being done no later than July 20th. And it's interesting. So I need to talk about the start day compared to how many games they're playing, compared to the end day. And they're going to have to be flexible here or it's not going to work. We've seen in the past in the NFL, MLB, all these other leagues, teams get COVID. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. Let's not be blind to the fact unless they're in a bubble, they are going to run into a team getting COVID. And when you have an opening night on January 13th and you plan on playing 56 games by May 8th, that is 56 games in 116 days as you can see at the bottom right. That's basically a game every other day. If you have a team that needs a week off because of COVID, because they get all the cases, you're not going to be able to have a lot of flexibility with your scheduling. So I'm assuming that May 8th date is subject to change for the end of the season. It should be, and they should also be willing to push back the Seattle expansion draft and entry draft in case that happens, because you can't have a guy playing in the playoffs in the Stanley Cup final and then be like, you're on Seattle now. That just isn't going to work. That would be pretty messed up. Roster size, 23-man roster with a 4 to 6 taxi squad, which I guess is like people who are on the team, but they're not going to be on your AHL team, and they're not going to be on your real club. They're more just there to be called up, kind of like your black aces in the playoffs. I think that's the term they use, right? But so that should be interesting to see how that works. There will be waivers for taxi squad, so if you get taken off a taxi squad, if you get called up from the taxi squad and then you get put back on, you will be subject to waivers if your contract is a two-way contract. If your contract is a one-way contract, two ways and rookies, they'll be excluded from that because that's how their contracts are structured. And there's some concerns. I mentioned the schedule flexibility. Like, they're going to have to be ready to move games around, extend the season if possible, because you can't do what the MLB did, where you have the Marlins miss like a week and a half or 2 weeks and then have them play double headers. Can't do that in the NHL. Their bodies will break down, and you can't even really have them play back to back to back to back on like days and consecutive days, because it's just the sport's too hard on your body. You'd be injuring players if you did that. So they really need to think about being very flexible with this date, with the date of May 8th. The only thing I can think is they're going to load a lot of 3 games in 4 days for a lot of these teams. Going to the division structure, which I'll talk about before going over them. They have, for example, the Bruins are in a 8-team division, and they'll be playing the other 7 teams 8 times each for a total of 56 games. My guess is they'll have them fly to, let's say, Buffalo, for example, a team in their division, and they will play 3 games in 4 days in Buffalo or something like that. Then fly back, have like 2 days off, and then play 3 and 4. That's how I suspect it, because I don't think they're going to want these teams traveling. I don't see them having teams do all 4 road games in like one of these places in one trip. Maybe they do. I really don't know how they're doing this. It would make sense from a travel purpose to do that, but I much find it more likely you're going to go on the road to a city like Buffalo, and you were going to play 2 games there. You're going to go back. Later on, you'll play Buffalo twice at your place, and then you'll go back to Buffalo, play them twice at their place, something like that along those lines. Not in that order, like you're playing Buffalo, then you're playing Buffalo, then you're playing Buffalo. But like when you do play Buffalo, it's going to be 2 nights in a row in the same barn. Or at least that's what I suspect because of travel during this time. Will all teams be able to play in their home buildings? San Jose is definitely not going to be able to start their season in their home building. The county of Santa Clara is actually going into a lockdown, and they just aren't allowing contact sports or anything. It's affected the 49ers. It's going to affect the San Jose Sharks. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're the only team that's affected by that, or if they're the team that's just, or if they're one of multiple teams who are going to be affected by that. And will all the Canadian teams be able to play in Canada? Right now, we don't know. They said they would know early this week, or they'd try to get something figured out early this week. I'm not seeing anything posted about that. I haven't got any notifications. So it'll be interesting to see how that one works. But they might do what the Blue Jays did in baseball, where they play in America for the whole season. They just have to relocate, which is kind of a force on the players. Not really a big deal when it comes to the fans aspect of it, because you're not going to be able to attend these games anyway. So it should be interesting to see what happens there. There's a lot that's going to go down in these next 3 weeks, and there's a lot of news to follow. So definitely be updating your feed, checking the news on NHL.com, all that stuff for all the official stuff. We then look at the divisions, and this is a interesting one. So you got all Canadian teams are in one division. You got a 17 division. Each team plays each other 10 times, I believe. It's either 9 or 10 times. So take that 10 like as a half truth. It's either 9 or 10, because I know they're getting into 56, but if you play all these 6, like there's not a 6 times something. There's no solid number that 6 times equals 56. So they're playing each team 9 times for 54. They're playing each team 10 times for 60. It's one or the other. Or you're just playing, maybe the East Coast teams play each other 10 times, and you play the Western Canadian teams 9 times. I don't know how that one's going to work out. We'll find that out when the schedule gets released. But the other 3 divisions, you're only playing in your division, like the Canadian division, but you're playing each team 8 times. So Boston will play Buffalo 8 times, Boston will play New Jersey 8 times, and so on down the list. Any team in your division, you're playing 8 times. Probably split 4 and 4 for each team having home games, assuming you can have it in your division. Notable things to look at when you're looking at the division side lineup is Minnesota and St. Louis got screwed. Plain and simple. Dallas should probably be in that division travel-wise. Minnesota has the worst travel in the league, but it's kind of one of those things like, be happy you have hockey at all, and you just got the short end of the stick because you are west enough for them to justify putting you in that division. I'm assuming your owners also had to agree to it, so yeah, I don't think that's a big deal, but it is kind of a crap deal if you're a player. As for the Boston Bruins, Buffalo, they got put basically in the Metro, except Carolina and Columbus got bumped to the Central, and the Central is like a mix of 5 teams from the Eastern Conference and 3 Central teams from the Western Conference. That's a pretty interesting division. A lot of those teams don't play each other a lot, so that's going to be a pretty fun division to watch, to be honest, because you're going to have some rivalries probably start there with how often they're playing each other with some teams you would not expect to be rivals. So that should be fun. straight division format for the playoffs. So the top 4 teams in each division make the playoffs, and then one plays 4, 2 plays 3, and then each division will send one representative to the final 4. Where I believe they're not doing an East versus West thing. I believe they're doing the top team who comes out of each division. It goes by their points, so you have a 1v4 ranked based on that. It's basically like a Final Four in the NCAAs. That's basically how it is. It doesn't really matter where you're located, which is pretty cool. It's going to be a fun season to watch, assuming they get all the way through it. And the divisions are wacky, which the NHL can be wacky sometimes. So that's pretty fun to watch. That's all the thoughts I really have. Just wanted to go over this, keep people informed based on what's going on, because it can be confusing to the casual who maybe just wants to watch their team play but doesn't necessarily know the details of how the season's going to play out. This basically lays out what the NHL wants to happen. So that's going to do it for me. You hit the like button under the video. You can hit the subscribe button if you want to follow my channel going forward. The thing on the left is my Twitter at PatSylviaNHL. You can read it there. Go to Twitter, type it in. You will find me and see that beautiful face appear on your phone. Like I said, I plan on uploading every day, at least once, since I got the free time during the winter. And I look forward to making more videos, and I hope you enjoy my videos. I will see you in the next one. Peace.